Where is Likud? On day one, your chairman took the right-wing mandates and handed them over to a made-up war cabinet filled with generals beholden to the United States. Likud, you were voted in because you're strong on foreign policy. You're strong on terror. You're supposed to be able to handle the Palestinians and handle the Americans and handle world pressure. So when your chairman handed over the reins to a made-up war cabinet, where were you? He invited Gantz and Lapid, and he begged Biden to answer his phone call. And when Lapid said no, he saved a seat for him. Now, no one told you had to expand the coalition, but if you felt the need to do so, you could take Lieberman and Saar and Elkin and still get over 70 votes. So instead now, 7 months in, you're surprised when the US treats us like a puppet? When we don't have any direction? Do we give aid? We don't give aid. Do we invade? We don't invade. PA? No PA. There's no direction. And we apologize, and we ask for permission, and we explain everything. And the whole world has to know every detail. Eurovision has more secrets. So now not only do we not have a path to victory, the Gazans embarrass us at every point because we're handcuffed by the United States. And what's your answer, Likud? Well, the terrorists hide among the civilians. We knew that. The Arabs use the media. We knew that. The UN and the US, they sympathize with blah, blah, blah. We knew that too. The tunnels are too deep. No. The United States has taken away our smart weapons. You don't need those smart weapons. The only reason you need those weapons is because you agreed to this war made up by the United States because you're in urban warfare where you could have no collateral damage. Which is nonsense. It's not possible. Well, we're waiting for Trump. Your women, your children, your elderly were kidnapped and mutilated and tortured and raped on purpose on GoPros to show the whole world. You don't wait for anybody. You don't wait for Trump. You don't wait for the United States. Stop making excuses, Likud. You're supposed to be the right wing. And because of this silence, that's why we're in this situation, where we have no sovereignty and we're a punching bag. Why another country has built a pier on our shores. Why half a dozen other countries fly flights over our airspace and drop aid. Why the army thinks that transparency is to tell the whole world what our plans are. And why every release is in English and not in Hebrew. Why our dear citizens, our hostage families, make up slogans in English and not in Hebrew. Because they can't rely on you. And because of your silence and this war cabinet and being a puppet of the Americans, our enemies are stronger. The fourth greatest army in the world waits for an answer from a band of terrorists. The fourth greatest army in the world is so handcuffed and so restricted, they can't eliminate a group that doesn't have a single tank, a single airplane, or a single helicopter. And that's why when the United States puts sanctions on Israeli citizens, and Canada embargoes us for something they don't even make, and Italy denies our diplomats, and Yemen shoots missiles at us, and Iran sends our whole country into shelters publicly to shame us, it's because you, Likud, have handed over this government to these generals who are beholden to the United States. Rak Bibi, Rak Bibi. You sound like a bunch of zombies. Just like the fools who run around and think the Bibi is responsible for the weather and blame him for everything. Just because a government with Lapid and Mansour Abbas and Michaeli would be a disaster, that doesn't lessen your responsibility. At least with Lapid, we know what he wants. He wants a mini United States. Little states of Jews and little states of Muslims and little states of other groups, all governed by a secular elite Supreme Court to make sure the barbaric religious people don't infringe on the leftist rights. Who cares what Lapid wants? But at least we know what he wants. With Bibi, we don't know anymore. And why? On October 6th, Bibi is sitting pretty. The one thing between him and a legacy, what's a legacy? A legacy is peace with Saudi Arabia. The one thing holding him back is a phone call from Biden. All of a sudden, the war breaks out. Now, another war in Gaza and another war in the north and another war in Yehudan Shomron, what some people call the West Bank, is not going to get Bibi a legacy. And the people are not even calling for these peace treaties. That's what we're missing, another Arab embassy to sit here, withdraw its diplomats, withdraw its ambassador, and criticize us every war. After the Abraham Accords, Bibi lost. The people wanted sovereignty in the Jordan Valley. The people are very content with quiet relations. But there's no legacy in that. There's no glory in that. There's no peace prize in that. There's no handshake at the White House. And don't blame the Haredim and Ben Gvir and Smotrich. They're amateurs compared to Bibi. They started the coalition with 32 seats each. That's a partnership. And Bibi dismantled them into 4 little parties. Now they're not even invited to meetings. They have to tweet whatever comes to mind just to try to get attention. So we've said this before, we'll say it again. This entire generation of leaders, Bibi, the upper echelon of the military, the deep state, the concepcio, whatever you want to call it, and apparently Likud now also, these groups cannot keep us safe. Not from terrorism, not from rockets, not from guns, and not from knives. And certainly not from Europe, the United Nations, and the United States.